Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And today we're going to be continuing Naruto King of the Clouds. What if Naruto was a cloud ninja? Part 4. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular and you like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Where we last left off with our series, we started with our 2 stories in one, if you will. Remember, while we will be following the journey of Naruto and his adventures had his origins descended from the land of lightning in the Cloud Village, we're also going to be covering the events in the Hidden Leaf with the Land of Waves, as we see things have taken a different turn. Also, if you haven't, make sure you check out the earlier parts of the story so you can be up to date with the lore and everything you need to know as we go into this series. But now, without further ado, let's get on with today's video. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. After another hard day's work, Naruto and the rest of Team Darui were preparing to turn in for the night. This mission hadn't been what Naruto thought it would be. It was more or less glorified search, recovery, and rescue, helping a village from a natural disaster. Well, if it was even technically a village, since it wasn't a shinobi village, but rather a civilian one that lied in a territory in between the land of lightning and the land of earth. As Naruto went walking about, he could see the destitute of the village. There were many that seemed to live in rather modest and humble homes. This wasn't the exciting adventure Naruto thought it would be, but at the same time, he still felt sorry for these people and everything they had to endure. As Naruto was making his way, he saw the older man who was the leader of the village as he was carrying a heavy bag. Naruto would help the elderly man carry the bag to his home, and the older one would thank him for his services. As they made their way, Naruto walking inside, he could see that the old man lived in a rather small and modest of accommodations. And yet he saw photos and pictures of people that he didn't personally recognize, nor would he. But it seemed like it were pictures of the older man in his younger years, and with someone that appeared to be of Naruto's own age. That's my grandson, young man. He was my pride and joy, always full of optimism and of high spirits, ready to find his next adventure. Oh, I see. So, is your grandson here? No. Unfortunately, he has passed, along with my son and daughter-in-law. Unfortunately, it seems I'm all that remains. What? You don't have any more of your family? The old man had a saddened expression that etched across his face as he took a seat and Naruto helping him as he continued looking around at the old pictures and memorabilia. No, young man, I'm afraid not. I lost my family in the last Great War. I had no idea. It's all right. I've learned to make peace with it. But what happened? I mean, this place seems to be so full of, well, I know, it's a dump. I wouldn't have said that. It's all right. We've accepted our conditions. Was I a shinobi? Yes, in my younger years, you could say I dabbled in the art of ninjutsu. However, that part of me is from a past that's long forgotten. But if you're capable of using ninjutsu, then are there other shinobi here in this village? They're far and few between, and they're not anything to write home about. No one who was a shinobi from this village was all too talented. The few talented ones we had all perished in the war. It must have been really bad. It was. Do you know why it's called Mountain's Graveyard? It's because on that mountain there lies a plateau. And it was there that countless numbers of shinobi from all over lost their lives, many of whose bodies were never taken back to their respective homes and villages. That mountain is built on nothing but bones and blood. It's a reminder of the cost of war, and one that our village has paid for greatly. When the war came to an end, as I've said, the few shinobi we had deserted. They didn't want to fight for a losing cause, so they sold their talents to other nations, some including yours. For all you know, a few of your descendants could very well be from this very land. But why did you all stay? Why not go somewhere else? This is our homeland, young men. It's where many of us were born, and it's where many of us are most likely going to die. The war opened our eyes to many things. It opened our eyes to what the world was and to what we were not. Simply put, we accepted that we just weren't meant to be a part of this shinobi world. So we renounced our status as a shinobi village, and instead we took the roles of civilians. Granted, things aren't perfect, the resources tend to be scarce, but even still, we're able to take care and fend for our own rather effectively. Quite honestly, I would like for my land to be able to prosper. I hope to see it with my own eyes, and to hopefully see a next generation flourish without knowing the terrors of war and what it brings. Naruto would be left speechless. He wasn't sure of what to say or what to do in that moment. If this was the effects of war and what war could bring, then it was no wonder why his father was such a proponent for peace. As Naruto made his way back to his lodging along with the other members of his team, they could see the pained look on his face. Even Kari, who would normally give a snarky remark, asked out of concern if anything were wrong. "What's the matter, Naruto?" Kari asked. "Guys, this place, it's awful." "Yeah, no kidding," Omori would chime in. "What's bothering you, Naruto?" Darui asked the student. "Master, the Third Great Ninja War, how bad was it?" Darui would take a deep breath. Even though he technically didn't live through the Third Great Ninja War, at least in the sense that he didn't participate during his time, mainly because he wasn't old enough, he still remembered many of the horrors that the nations went through. The Third Great Ninja War saw a lot of lives lost on all fronts, including our own. We lost the third Raikage, countless of shinobi, fighting in skirmishes all over. I was a little younger than you guys when the war finally reached its climax and came to an end, so I didn't get to fight in it personally, although I can remember vividly a lot of the stories, and there were some things that I saw, things that a young child should never see. But this land, I mean, if one war could reduce it to this much. That's the facts of war, Naruto. So often you're focused on the winner or the loser, but truthfully, in war, there are no winners and losers. You simply have survivors. And every village has had its toll taken on them. We lost our Raikage. But there are those who have lost way more than that. The current state of the ninja world, something that your father often tries to keep in a positive light, it's at a critical juncture right now. What do you mean? Omui looked to his sensei, inquiring of just how the state of the shinobi world could be. Well, currently speaking, our village, the Hidden Cloud, along with the Hidden Leaf, stand atop as the two mighty powerhouses of the ninja world. For the most part, we've managed to keep the peace, although even still, there's bad blood on both sides. And it's easy to understand. There have been cases, incidents that could have potentially sparked a fourth Great War that we've only narrowly been able to stave off. And then there's the Hidden Stone. I'd say they follow somewhere behind both the Cloud and the Leaf. What they lack in terms of overall battle strength, they make up for in just sheer numbers. I'd say out of all of the 5 great nations, they have the most shinobi. Then why do they seem to struggle so much? Karui asked. It's because a lot of their shinobi aren't typically talented. I don't want to categorize a whole nation, but they tend to follow after the symbol that they wear with pride. They're all about as dumb and as stubborn as rocks. They would just as quickly throw their lives away just to try to save face than try to fight for a tomorrow. For the Hidden Stone, there is no tomorrow. They'd rather stand and face whatever comes their way, regardless of no matter how obvious an outcome is. I'd say behind them we would have the Hidden Mist and the Hidden Sand. They've been suffering the worst since the end of the war. I'm sure you've heard rumors about the Bloody Mist village. All 3 would nod. It was like war stories whenever you heard about the things that went on in the mist. The amount of bloodshed and murder that took place there. It was not for the faint of heart. Not much was known about the Mizukage other than the fact that he was known to be a ruthless dictator who put his people through the worst. And it's not much better in the Hidden Sand. They seem to suffer the most. Between a lack of resources and that the amount of missions that they get usually end up getting taken by either the Cloud or the Leaf, they've been pushed into more and more of economic hardship. All it'll take is one false move, and the next thing we know, we're plunged into another great war. That's why this tension between us and the Stone is not for the faint of heart. Even right now, the Tsuchikage is in the Hidden Cloud. All 3 would perk up their ears at the hearing of this. The Tsuchikage? What's he doing in our village? He has a meeting with your father, Naruto. A dispute over territory, most likely the territory we're in right now. The Stone have been trying to get their hands on it for a while to try to expand. If they're able to do so, and if they can strike up an alliance with, say, a lesser tier village like the Waterfall, then it could put them in a critical position. The Stone look to try to spread their influence all over, swallowing up the smaller and weaker nations into their own. But why do that? They don't provide much of anything. It's a long-term gain, Darui would say. There are a lot of talented shinobi in the smaller nations. Even the Hidden Waterfall have their own Jinchuriki, and the Stone already have 2. You form an alliance and that's 3 Jinchuriki on your side potentially. Also, there are other talented shinobi, but because they hail from smaller villages, their names aren't really known far and wide, save for the rare exceptions. Like Hanzo, the salamander of the Hidden Rain. It was said that he was so powerful he was able to fight off the Stone, the Sand, and the Leaf, all during the Second Great Ninja War. He was that powerful? Indeed, and he hails from a smaller nation, and he fought from a weaker position because the hidden rain is caught in between those three villages. So the fact that he was able to hold his own is truly a testament to his skill. Now imagine someone with that caliber of power were to align themselves with the hidden stone village. It would only add to their overall power and to their deadliness. And knowing the hidden stone, and knowing how much they'd want to lash out, it wouldn't behoove me to think that they'd try to take a chance and strike against one of the two other great nations. Not to mention, they do have the hidden mist as allies, so there's always the potential threat of an attack from both sides. All three students would listen intently as they tried to grasp the seriousness of their situation. The world was really in a tough place right now. If one false move could potentially lead to all-out war. But we should be strong enough to fend them off, Omui would say. I mean, we have Lord Forth. There's no way we lose. Yes, Lord Forth is powerful, and as his student, I can attest to that power. But after all, he's still just one man. Even Lord Thur eventually met his end. Even though he was able to fend off for 3 days, eventually the numbers just became too much for him. A look of concern would wash over Naruto's face. Never once did he consider his father to be someone who could ever lose a battle. But yet even still, that realization had to sink in. No matter how powerful of a shinobi you thought you were, the universe always had a way of proving you wrong. Whether it be in the short term or the long term, the life of a shinobi was not for the faint of heart. And eventually, your number would be called. Sometimes it was just a matter of when and where. However, Team Dari were not the only ones going through their own turmoil. Back in the land of waves, another situation was beginning to escalate. As Kakashi stood along with Sasuke and Sakura, Neji held on to the shoulder of the masked shinobi. "How long are you going to fool us?" Neji would say. So, it appears you figured out my secret. It wasn't that hard. I've had my eye on you since the start of the battle. You couldn't escape me even if you tried. Ah, so this is the faint Byakugan of the Hyuga clan. You are as perceptive as your reputation perceives. I guess I can't hide it any longer. The masked shinobi would attempt to kick at Neji, Neji narrowly dodging and forcing the masked shinobi to retreat. Kakashi would stand on guard along with Sasuke and Sakura. The masked shinobi would pull under his cloak. Sinbun. "Everyone stay on guard," Kakashi would say. "I don't have much chakra left, but even still, I can maybe charge up one lightning blade. If the opening is just right, I can strike him down before he gets a chance." Sasuke would join Neji's side, his Sharingan activated. The two Tomoe Sharingan and the fury of the Byakugan standing. Haku would look around. His options were limited. He was dealing with a Jonin, a user of the Byakugan and a user of the Sharingan. This battle was not going to be for the faint of heart. Maybe he could fend them off long enough and potentially kill the two boys and deal with the Jonin master. But even then, there was no guarantee. And then there was also the girl, There was no telling what type of skills she could have. For now, retreat would be the best option. The masked shinobi would go charging in towards the two boys, engaging in a flurry of taijutsu. Neji would be able to strike at 4 of the chakra points in his arm, causing it to go limp. Haku was surprised by this. However, he quickly kicked Neji away. As Sasuke would come in with a kick of his own, Haku would block with his own arm that was still usable, but he could feel some of the bones beginning to crack under the pressure of Sasuke's kick. However, he reversed with a kick of his own, hitting Sasuke in the gut, but not before Sasuke was able to backflip, catching the heel of his foot on the boy's mask, knocking him back even further. Kakashi would go in with the lightning blade charged. Waiting for his opportunity, he went and launched a strike. However, as his hand went through the chest of the boy would immediately collapse into blocks of ice. As they turned, they saw that the masked shinobi had grabbed Zabuza, disappearing in a haze of mist. Kakashi cursed under his breath. He had wasted his jutsu on the enemy, and now they knew what he could do. And what was worse, if Zabuza was alive, then they were going to come back. For now, the only thing they could do was make their way to the land of waves. However, Kakashi would pass out almost immediately, falling to the ground from exhaustion. Between using the Sharingan and using the lightning blade, he was more tapped out than he would have liked to admit. Sakura would create shadow clones and try to help as the group would make their way to Tazuna's home. In the meantime, off in the abandoned village, hidden within the mountains, 4 stone shinobi would wait as a signal had been given to them. "So, what's the word from our grandfather?" Kurasuchi would ask. "He's made contact in the land of lightning, and the meeting is set to progress tomorrow as scheduled. With the details we've been given, we need to strike tonight." "What exactly are we going to do?" Jiro would ask, a boy with a red bandana that covered his eyes wrapping around his head. "We have our orders. In our best form of strategy, we take out the head of the snake, and then we work our way through the body." "I see. So, we conquer and divide. We go after their Jonin sensei. Right now, we're only dealing with a Jonin and a team of Genin. If we take out the Jonin, then the Genin will fall easily." Everyone would nod in agreement, knowing their assignments and what they needed to do. As the night began to progress, Darui would leave his lodging with the students as he set off to the outskirts of the village, as he had a messenger hawk that he had to receive. Once he had finally made it and had been given the message of the Tsuchikage's arrival and to be on guard, his senses would alert him to an attack. Earth style, boulder smash jutsu. Multiple boulders would appear from underground, hurling themselves straight towards Dari as he dodged. "Well, this is a rather dull situation, but I figure it couldn't be helped. You were going to make your appearance sooner or later, weren't you, Stone Shinobi?" Dari looked and saw that he was surrounded by all 4 of the Stone Shinobi. "We've heard word about you, the boy who serves under the 4th Raikage. To think that my name would be so renowned that the stone would know it. I feel honored." And just what business do you have with me? It's nothing personal, rather. Your team was assigned a mission to this village, a mission that the Hidden Stone has already accepted. So your presence here will not be needed any further. I do thank you for enlightening me. However, you should understand that the Hidden Cloud do not go back on their word. Once we have been given a mission, we must see it through till the end. I understand, Cloud Shinobi. However, you must also realize that this is not something we can easily turn away from. Darui prepared himself as the stone would attack. The next day arrived. Naruto, Omoi, and Karui awoke, but their master was nowhere to be seen. They wondered what had happened. Maybe he had gone out early to help with more of the excavation? They weren't sure. They ate and washed up before gearing themselves and heading out for the day. Each one was doing work in different locations. Kari was going to be helping gathering herbs in the forested area, while Omoi was going to be helping with the border patrol. As for Naruto, he was going to be heading up the mountains. After all, there was still a lot more rubble that had to be broken down, and he figured that his master would probably be there. Each student would leave and go about in a different direction. As they did so, however, things were not going to be going as well as they would have hoped. While Kari were alone in the forest, she could feel a presence not too far from her. As she drew her sword, she would yell for whoever was out there to come out, only to be greeted by a girl. "Stone Shinobi," Kari would say. Well, this'll be fun. As Omoi stood on the border, he decided to go and see if maybe he could find his master. As he went out, he saw that there appeared to have been a fight of some sorts. There were sword slashes on the rocks and the earth all around, and it looked like there was a use of fire and lightning. Chakra had definitely been molded here. Immediately he dodged as a kick went flying towards his head as the maskly covered Stone Shinobi would face him. "You were able to sense my kick. Wow, you got some wicked moves, dude. Let's see what you got." As for Naruto would be making his way through the mountains. He still saw no sign of his master Darui, and it left him concerned. Although he wouldn't have long to think that, as he heard a high-pitched sound before a beam of light nearly took his head off that exploded right beside him. Naruto turned and stood on guard as he saw someone floating up ahead. "Just who the hell are you?" The floating shinobi looked down at his enemy. "I'm the last thing that you'll ever see." This concludes Naruto, King of the Clouds. What if Naruto was a cloud ninja? Part 4. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue One Piece Omniverse. What if Luffy had the Omnitrix? The East Blue Saga, Part 4. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.